She will never say it out loud, but she's silently waiting for you to become this man. And if you don't understand this tonight, you will keep losing women you never even realized you had. Listen to me carefully. Most men believe attraction is built on what you say. The right text, the perfect compliment, the clever joke. They think if they can just decode female psychology like a puzzle, they'll finally win. But here's the truth. She will never confess. She doesn't want you to win her. She wants to feel you don't need to. That's the secret. 99% of women are deeply drawn to one rare quality: emotional sovereignty. Not coldness, not arrogance, not indifference. Sovereignty. A man who owns his inner world. You see, when you walk into a room desperately scanning for her approval, she feels it. When you text and then stare at your phone waiting for the typing bubbles to appear, she feels it. When your mood rises and falls depending on her attention, she feels it. And the moment she feels that something shifts, because attraction at its core is about emotional safety, and a man who is ruled by her reactions does not feel safe. He feels unstable, and instability cannot lead. This is where most men misunderstand women. They think women want intensity, passion, drama, constant reassurance. But what they crave, often unconsciously, is grounded strength. Think about it. Why does the calm man stand out in chaos? Why does the one who doesn't chase suddenly become the one being chased? It's not a trick. When you are internally steady, you send a silent message: I am complete with or without you. And paradoxically, that is what makes her lean in. The ancient Stoics understood this thousands of years ago. They taught that a man must master his reactions before he can master his world. If you cannot control your impulses, your jealousy, your anxiety, your need for validation, then you are not in control. You are controlled. And women sense control, not dominance over them, but dominance over yourself. Let me say something that might sting. If you panic when she pulls away, if you over-explain when she goes quiet, if you double text when she doesn't reply, you are communicating fear. And fear kills attraction faster than rejection ever could. But when you pause, breathe, continue living your life, hit the gym, focus on your mission, laugh with your friends, and let her come back at her pace, you communicate abundance, and abundance is magnetic. This doesn't mean you become emotionless. It means you become emotionally disciplined. There is a difference. The Stoic man feels deeply. He simply chooses when and how to express it. He is not reactive. He is responsive. Women rarely articulate this because it's not something they consciously analyze. It's instinctual. They are drawn towards stability the way a compass points north. And when you become that stable point, you stop begging for attention. You stop trying to impress. And suddenly, without trying, you become unforgettable. Because the one thing she rarely finds is the man who cannot be shaken. Here's the part most men completely miss, and why they keep falling into the same exhausting loops with women. She doesn't want your approval. She wants your confidence. She wants your presence. And if you've been conditioned to give your energy before earning respect, you've been playing the wrong game all along. Think about the last time you felt instantly drawn to a woman. Chances are it wasn't because she was perfect. It wasn't because she texted you first or laughed at your jokes. It was because she projected her own value. She carried her energy like armor, calm, unbothered, unchained. That energy was irresistible, magnetic, almost hypnotic. That's the same effect you must learn to master. Here's the Stoic truth. Attraction is a mirror. She mirrors the energy you hold inside. If you panic, she panics. If you chase, she flees. If you are calm, collected, and self-assured, she feels it, often without knowing why. Your internal state is louder than your words. Women can feel it through your voice, your gestures, even the way your eyes move. Most men never realize this because they are addicted to short-term validation. They equate attention with attraction. They confuse the dopamine rush of a reply with genuine desire. But desire is not transactional. Desire is emotional. It's felt before it's ever spoken. And it is almost always silent until you hold the energy she cannot ignore. Here's a subtle observation about human behavior, especially female psychology. Women love to talk about fairness, equality, and logic, but attraction doesn't obey rules. It obeys energy. A woman can say she wants one thing, but her instincts are pulling her towards something else entirely. And 99% of the time, That something is a man who is whole on his own. Stop giving her your validation. Stop trying to impress. Stop overthinking every gesture, every text, every emoji. When you remove the need for approval, you create space for desire. You make room for mystery. You become the man who is watched, pursued, remembered. I want to give you a real-world picture. Imagine two men she meets. One laughs at her every word, texts her constantly, and rearranges his schedule to see her. The other is focused on his mission, his friends, his passions. He acknowledges her, but he does not bend his world around her. Who does she notice first? Who does she think about when she's alone at night? Who does she chase? The answer is obvious, and never the one who gives too much too soon. Now I need you to internalize this. Abundance attracts. Scarcity repels. Scarcity is chasing, pleading, over-explaining. Abundance is living your life unapologetically and letting attraction grow organically. And here's the paradox. When you stop seeking her, she begins to seek you. When you stop performing, she starts performing. When you stop chasing, she starts leaning in. It's not manipulation, it's truth. This is not about playing games. It's about understanding energy, timing, and the psychology of attraction. So ask yourself right now, are you living in scarcity or abundance? Are you reacting to her, or are you leading yourself? Because until you answer that honestly, no technique, no text, no pickup line will ever create the kind of pull you're craving. Attraction is invisible. It's silent. It's the language of presence. And once you speak it fluently, you'll see her eyes follow you differently. You'll notice subtle changes in her tone, her posture, even in her smiles. These are the signs of a woman sensing the man she has always wanted but could never name. The moment you realize this, everything shifts. You stop fearing rejection because you are untouchable emotionally. You stop needing explanations because your life is already rich. And the woman, she starts to do what she's secretly hoping you will allow. She starts to pursue, because the truth she will never say is she doesn't just want to be loved. She wants to chase a man worthy of her attention. Now, let me take you deeper because this is where most men completely sabotage themselves without even knowing it. You see, women are wired to respond to certainty, strength, and emotional clarity. Yet 99% of men give her the exact opposite: confusion, anxiety, and neediness. You think she wants explanations, proof, or attention. But what she actually craves is a man Ho does not crumble when she pulls away. She wants a man whose presence is a constant, unshakable force in his own life. Think about the last time you felt instantly jealous or insecure. Maybe she was late to respond or she laughed at someone else's joke. You overanalyzed. You felt fear, and in that moment, she felt it too without a word being exchanged. That fear, that insecurity, it radiates from you like a signal in the night. I am not enough. I need you. And that kills attraction faster than anything else. Here's the truth no one tells you. Women don't just fall for men who are attractive. They fall for men who are emotionally sovereign. Men who have mastered themselves before trying to master a relationship. Men whose world is not dictated by her moods, texts, or attention. This is the stoic secret that most men never learn. It's subtle, almost invisible, but she senses it in your energy, in your calmness, in the way you hold your gaze. She notices when you don't panic. She notices when you don't beg for validation. She notices when you live in abundance instead of scarcity. And when she notices, something powerful happens. She starts chasing. She starts leaning in. She starts investing her attention in a way she would never do with a man who lacks this inner structure. Understand this. It's not about playing hard to get. It's about being hard to shake. About being a man whose energy is magnetic, stable, and self-contained. When you master this, you no longer have to force attraction. You simply allow it, and paradoxically, the more you do this, the more she wants you, even if she would never admit it. But here's where most men fail again. They confuse stoic presence with emotional coldness. They think detachment means indifference. It doesn't. Emotional sovereignty is about feeling deeply but choosing when, where, and how to express it. It's about controlling impulses, not suppressing emotion. Women can sense the difference. They feel the depth of your emotions, but they also feel your restraint. And that restraint creates desire. You've been told to communicate constantly, to over-explain, to justify your feelings, and to reassure endlessly. That is the opposite of what works. The men who succeed silently carry their value, letting their presence speak louder than words. They set boundaries without drama. They demonstrate abundance without arrogance. And women respond instinctively to that energy, even if they can't articulate it. Imagine it. A man who is fully himself, focused on his purpose, but aware of her subtly drawn to him. He does not chase. He does not beg. He simply exists, grounded, whole, and untouchable emotionally. And in that space, the woman's desire ignites naturally. This is why 99% of women like a man who lives this way, but will never tell you. It's too instinctual, too subconscious. She doesn't need to articulate it because she feels it in her bones. And if you fail to embody it, no amount of charm, effort, or strategy will ever create the pull you crave. Your task then is simple but brutal. Master your emotions, own your energy, live a life so full, so grounded, so magnetic, that her pursuit is inevitable. Because attraction is never earned with words or validation, it is created in silence, in presence, in the steady force of a man who cannot be shaken. Once you grasp this, everything else falls into place. She no longer holds the power over you. You hold the power over your life. And in that power, she finally recognizes the man she's been waiting for. Now, pay close attention because this is the part most men will never see coming. It's the subtle truth that separates men who are forgotten from men who are irresistible. You've been told attraction is about looks, money, or status. If you just dress better, get ripped, or earn more, women will chase you. That's a half-truth. These things may open the door, but they do not keep her coming back. What keeps her invested is emotional gravity, the invisible force that pulls her toward you without her even realizing why. Emotional gravity comes from the man who has mastered himself, the one whose identity is not tied to her attention, the one whose world doesn't collapse if she pulls away. This is the Stoic principle applied to modern dating. A man who rules his own inner empire is irresistible because he is safe, predictable, and abundant. Not boring, not cold, just unshakable. Consider the subtle psychology at play. When a man responds to every text immediately, explains every thought, or apologizes for feeling, he is communicating scarcity. Scarcity screams, "I need you. I can't be without you." And the woman, even if she likes you, feels the weight of that need. It triggers a natural pullback, a subtle distance, because instinctively she wants to invest in strength, not dependency. Now contrast that with a man who is abundant. He doesn't panic when she goes quiet. He lives his life fully regardless of her presence. He smiles at the world. He pursues his purpose. He engages with friends, hobbies, and challenges. And he communicates in small, precise doses. His attention is earned, not demanded. She notices. Even if she doesn't say it, she feels it. And the pull becomes almost unavoidable. Here's another hard truth. They read energy before they read words. You can say anything. But if your energy screams neediness, fear, or desperation, you will be perceived as weak. But if your energy is calm, grounded, and self-contained, she will sense the difference even if she has no conscious awareness of it. That is why men who stop chasing and start living are the ones who suddenly become unforgettable. You have to understand this. The female mind craves a challenge but not a game. She craves a man who is steady but not cold, who can feel deeply but remain in control, who demonstrates abundance through action and energy, not through words or promises. This balance is almost impossible to fake because it requires mastery over self, the one thing most men ignore. And here's where the power of silence comes in. Most men try to fill every void with chatter, explanations. The Stoic man understands that silence communicates strength. Silence allows her to see who you are without interference. It creates curiosity, longing, and respect. She notices the man who is comfortable in his own presence. She begins to invest emotionally because she senses he is worth it. This is the hidden paradox. By giving less, you make her give more. By staying emotionally sovereign, you make her lean in. By not reacting to every impulse, you create desire without effort. And the best part, it doesn't require manipulation. It's simply alignment with how human attraction naturally works. Ask yourself right now, are you living as a man who responds to scarcity, or one who radiates abundance? Are you letting your emotions control you, or are you mastering them? Because until you step into that mastery, you will continue to chase, overthink, and misread her signals, and she will never feel the pull she secretly wants to feel. The truth is brutal, but liberating. She doesn't need to tell you what she wants. She is wired to feel it. And if you can hold your energy steady, cultivate presence, and live fully, without her, you will discover a power few men ever taste. A magnetism that pulls her in naturally, almost inevitably, without you ever having to beg, chase, or explain. Now we arrive at the final truth, the one that separates the men who remain invisible from the men who are unforgettable in a woman's mind. You see, women are not consciously aware of all the signals they respond to. They don't write it down, they don't tell their friends, but they feel it deep in their instincts. And 99% of the time, what they feel is this: they are drawn to men who are emotionally sovereign, who carry themselves with self-respect, and who exist fully regardless of their attention. This is not about arrogance. It's not about indifference. It's about presence. A man who is emotionally sovereign moves through the world like a magnet, quietly commanding attention without trying to, and women instinctively respond. Their attraction is pulled toward a man whose energy communicates abundance, safety, and control over his own life. Think about it. Why does she linger in conversation with the man who doesn't need to impress? Why does she think about the man who never chased, who never panicked, who never begged? Because he represents something rare: emotional mastery, stability in a world of chaos, confidence without desperation. He does not exist to serve her emotions, he exists as a complete man, and that completeness pulls her in. Most men never understand this. They continue to give too much too soon, to overanalyze every interaction, to let their happiness hinge on her responses, and the result is predictable. She senses neediness, she feels the pressure, and attraction fades. But when you invert the equation, when you become a man whose life is rich, whose energy is controlled, whose attention is deliberate, the entire dynamic flips. She begins to seek you, to chase you, to invest in ways she never would with a man who is unstable. This is the stoic secret applied to modern relationships. Control your emotions. Control your impulses, build a life of purpose that is not dependent on validation. Let attraction be a byproduct of your presence, not a reward for your effort. Here's where most men fail again. They mistake emotional sovereignty for detachment or coldness. They think they have to suppress feelings to appear strong. No, emotional sovereignty is feeling fully but expressing wisely. It is allowing yourself to care deeply without losing your balance. It is creating boundaries that protect your energy, not punish her. This subtle mastery communicates strength in a way words cannot. And when you live like this, something extraordinary happens. She begins to notice the smallest shifts, the way you carry yourself, the steadiness in your voice, the calm in your actions. She senses the man who cannot be shaken. She feels the pull of energy that is rare, magnetic, and deeply compelling. And she begins to pursue, to invest, and to desire without you ever having to manipulate, chase, or over-explain. Remember this: 99% of women will never tell you this because it is instinctual, unspoken, and undeniable. But when you embody it, you tap into a power that no technique or pickup line can replicate. A man who masters himself naturally commands attention. He becomes unforgettable. He becomes the man women are drawn to, not because he seeks it, but because he exists fully, unwaveringly, and independently. Now, here's my challenge for you. In the comments, solve this personal equation for yourself. If your life is X, your attention is Y, and your energy is Z, how will you balance these to create a magnetic presence that pulls her naturally? Think deeply, answer honestly, and share it. If this truth hit you, like this video, subscribe, and share it with a friend who needs to hear this. The secret is no longer hidden. It's time to become the man she was always waiting.